If you need the help of a lawyer, finding the right one can be a daunting task. Each one may have a different skill set or type of law they practice. Welcome Claire Campbell with Campbell and Associates, along with one of her clients, Seth Miles. Claire and Seth, welcome to both of you. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Great to see you, and it's nice to meet you, Seth. Let's start with you. You were hurt at work in 2008. Did you hire a lawyer right away after you were injured?
No, I actually thought I could handle things on my own, and it wasn't until, I think, July of '09 when I had some circumstances happen that I decided I needed some counsel.
Okay, so you felt like you needed to get some help at that point.
Yes.
Okay. Were you afraid that someone at work would treat you differently if you hired a lawyer? Were you concerned about that?
Actually, yeah, that was one of my concerns, is that I wanted to stay employed with my company, and I was worried that they might treat me differently, and they might find a way to terminate me if I had went ahead and did that. But honestly, that didn't happen in my case.
Claire, that leads me to you. Is there a way to prevent an employer from terminating an employee who seeks legal help and hires a lawyer?
In the work comp statute, there are some provisions that prevent employers from wrongfully terminating an employee for making a claim for workers' comp initially or from hiring a lawyer. That's their legal right. However, sometimes it happens in the guise of something else. If an employee is still going to work and the employee's late or does something a little unusual, the employer can use that as termination for cause. And so that's a difficult thing to distinguish, but something we always look at. If we have someone that's come in and already been fired, when they hire us, we're like, did you get hurt, then get fired, then come to us? Something's happened. Yeah.
And Claire, is it common for people who are injured to avoid legal counsel because of their fears of being fired?
Often we get the phone call, very timid, you know, don't set up a claim for us until we check it out with the employer to make sure we can really hire you and be safe with our job and our benefits. And sometimes we'll actually meet with the injured party and hold the claim for a month or so until they are actually comfortable with the whole idea either way. And just like Seth said, sometimes circumstances arise where the risk of termination is not as important as getting the appropriate care and legal help.
Seth, how did you go about selecting a lawyer?
Initially, my wife and I talked to people at church, different organizations that we're part of, and Campbell's name kept being brought up in those circumstances. So we went online, jumped on the website, and found out that they did handle workers' comp claims. And we did a little research, and then we contacted them to just have an initial sit-down together to find out if we would work well with together.
And what was that initial sit-down like?
It was very casual, very relaxed. We sat down face-to-face with part of the legal team, and they explained our situation. They explained what they could do for us, and if we were a good match to work together.
Did you have to pay money up front?
No, by all means, no. That was never even brought up.
She's good, isn't she?
She is.
Claire, how do most workman's comp cases resolve? I mean, is it with the settlement, with trial?
About 20% will have to go all the way through the full commission, sometimes the Court of Appeals, and that can be a long process, particularly if you're an injured party and you've won your case, the insurance carrier for your employer has appealed, and it goes on and on and on. Your money's tied up for a period of time. However, the bulk of them do settle. In Seth's case, I think a mediation took place, and so before you actually have to go into a hearing, there's a forum that requires all the parties to sit down, not to waste the court's time, but to sit down and see if all the issues can be resolved amicably, and usually that's what happens. So it's a good requirement that the law has come up over the past 10 years to require some mediation, and sometimes everybody can get together and come up with a good result. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way, and that's those 20% that end up long-term.
Sure. Well, I'm glad things have worked out for you and that this has worked out so well. Campbell and Associates has offices in Charlotte, Gastonia, Hickory, and Rock Hill. They offer free consultations. You can contact Claire at 704-333-0885. Again, 704-333-0885, or visit injuryhelp.org, injuryhelp.org. Claire, thank you. Seth, great to meet you. Thanks for coming here and sharing your story. We appreciate it.